Still too close to call in Georgia, and a recount of the votes is already being planned there, according to election officials. Our Sean Calebs is in Atlanta with the very latest there. Sean.
Hey, Mike, we have actually moved. We're actually in an area called Freedom Park. And why are we here? Well, tomorrow at noon local time, there is going to be a victory demonstration. A number of organizations have come together, about 10, and they expect they could have some 15,000 people here in this park supporting what they say is the victory of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Donald Trump isn't going to like it. He has already said that he's launched his legal challenges here in Georgia. I want to tell you about one. There was an hour-long hearing in a county in the south part of Georgia. The judge listened for an hour and then said, "I dismiss this. Everyone have a great day." That is how quick it wrapped up. We're not seeing a whole lot of evidence here so far either. What we have seen is this massive lead that Donald Trump had on election night just dwindle away. For Trump, it's like death by 1,000 cuts because this has just happened hour after hour after hour. And now here in Georgia, Joe Biden has a lead of about 4,000 votes. Not a lot, but it's a razor-thin margin that could give him the 16 electoral votes that he needs. As we mentioned earlier, the people who run Georgia, the governor, the secretary of state, the head of the elections committee, all Republicans, all members of Trump's party. And here's what the secretary of state had to say, the individual who will certify the election, about how this vote has played out.
There are complaints about monitors not being allowed to watch the count. In Georgia, this process is and will remain open and transparent to monitors. We are committed to doing anything and everything to maintaining trust in our electoral process here for every Georgian, regardless of partisan preference.
Now, one thing about Freedom Park where we are, actually John Lewis Freedom Parkway leads up to it. The late congressman from Georgia, a longtime civil rights fighter and social justice fighter as well. It's interesting because his home county is Clayton, just to the south of Atlanta, and it was the final votes in Clayton, Mike, once they were counted, that actually put Biden ahead of Trump, and certainly something that Democrats in this state are cheering and smiling about this evening.
You know, Sean, I spoke to you Tuesday night. It certainly looked rather dire for the Biden people. I spoke to you on the phone the next morning, and you said, no, keep your eye on Georgia. And at the time, the numbers were just so extreme. And as you said, it just closed, the gap just closed dramatically. And now it seems like the entire eyes of the country are on Georgia because these two Senate races are going to be critical as well. What's it been like being there?
Yeah, let me break that down because we heard other correspondents talk about how the fact that Mitch McConnell does control the Senate. That is true, but there's going to be a runoff. Georgia had 2 Republican U.S. senators ahead of this election on November 3rd. Right now, it looks like they're both going to be in a runoff, and both theoretically could lose their seats. And a lot of the political chatter in and around Atlanta and Georgia today is, what kind of negative taste in the mouth of voters is this going to leave, the way that Donald Trump is handling this post-election White House, lashing out yesterday using terms like stolen, fraud, rigged, and then you have the Republicans here within the state saying, no, that's simply not happening. Is this the kind of leadership they want in the United States? So that's what we're hearing about from a lot of folks. So we know there's going to be the 2 runoffs, not just, all right, let's go back and recount the votes. No, this has to happen all over again. So theoretically, David Perdue, a Republican, could lose his Senate seat, and we knew there's going to be a runoff, and the candidate Loeffler there, she has never had a huge amount of support, but she is somebody who has really tied her wagon to Donald Trump, said that she has voted 100% with Donald Trump. That was her real political pitch ahead of the election. So it's going to be interesting to see how this runoff really plays out. And one isn't going to happen for 2 months. So it could be a very anxious time for Mitch McConnell and his Republican leadership in the Senate to see how that plays out. If they lose both these seats, he won't have a majority, as I understand it, in the U.S. Senate. So that's something we have to keep an eye on here. And of course, Georgia could be the state, once this is certified and have the recount, that pushes Biden over the limit, but that's getting way ahead of ourselves at this point. They have to certify this vote by November 13th. They want to certify it quickly because the sooner they certify it, then they can have the recount, and that's going to take some time.
And all those people who got tired of political ads get to watch a whole batch more. Sean Caleb's in Atlanta for us. Thanks so much.